Yeah. All right, guys. Well, welcome to another episode of Construct Strategically. Jans with Andy. Today I've got Matt Stanford with me.
Hey guys.
Matt and I have worked together in the past on a water treatment plant project, YKO 50.
Yeah, YKO 50, yeah.
Yeah, it was a great job.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Do we completely build that in 12 months? Design, procure, and build in 12 months?
Yeah, we got online within the time frame, pretty close to 12 months. Yeah,
and
it dragged on for a little bit after that. But things happen.
Let's not tell people that. Man. Cool. We finished in 12 months.
On time.
On time. That's it. On time. Yeah, and man, but it's really spectacular though. We've helped the Auckland water crisis as well at the same time, didn't we? But anyways, so Matt's a design manager. Yeah,
I'm a pre-contracts manager now. Actually, I was a design manager, and then I had a project controls management role.
Yeah, we
YKO
go.
50.
Yeah.
But
Doubled up
now
as a.
I'm working for Pipeline Civil now as pre-contracts manager.
How's that going for you, mate?
It's good. It's a bit of a change, like working on a lot of more dynamic projects, trying to build up an idea of time cost program, those type of things in a short period of time, so we can effectively tender them basically.
Yep.
Whereas probably the old projects I've been involved with for my recent career have been large projects. We get fully engrossed in them. You live them for 2 or 3 years. So a bit of a change of scene, but it's enjoyable. Great people at the company. So
I bet. I've heard a lot of good things about Pipeline and Civil. Really cool. Hugh Goddard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I used to work with Hugh back in the day, actually.
Actually, you mentioned that. Yeah. Was it when you? What project were you working on there?
So we were on the UFB project together.
Oh, okay.
Well, that was a long time ago, bro.
Yeah, sweet.
2010. I was still a kid back then. Yeah. So you worked at Fletcher's, now you're with Pipeline and Civil.
Yep.
How do you find that change? Is it what's different?
Well, it's all construction, so you're aiming towards the same outcome, right? You want to price things, you want to plan things, you want to build stuff, you want to get them completed on time, on budget, and make money off them. So
100%.
The whole philosophy is the same, I guess. Being a tier 2 contractor and me moving into the pre-contract space, I don't have as much control of my destiny at the moment, I guess.
Yeah, right.
I'm getting tenders. I need to prepare those tenders and turn them around in a short time frame and still provide a good service to our clients. And that's not so much the business, that's more the role, I guess. In regards to the business, smaller people, smaller team, and you're doing a lot more, you're a lot closer to the action, which I personally like.
A
lot more involved in day-to-day decision making around the operation of the business, which is pretty cool. In Fletcher, it was more about making decisions at a project level.
At a project level, yeah.
So a bit different.
But were you enjoying it though?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, it's a good challenge, and like I said before, great people I'm working with now, and a company which has really strong values and a great track record. You know, like when I was moving, everyone said, "Oh, great company," and it's entirely true.
Yeah, absolutely true. Like I tell you as well, great things about Pipeline and Civil. Yeah. Let's talk about your design management skills and you know, I've always been amazed by how you're one of the very few design managers that I've actually worked with that actually focuses on building constructability into the design. How do you go about doing that?
Probably easier said than done. But
100%,
yeah. I guess it's my background. Like I started off when I left university working for a small contracting firm where I literally designed and built irrigation systems in people's back garden. You know, so, like that's my job was to design the system, price it, and then run a crew that would go out and install it. So I always had to focus on my design being able to work and then be easy to install, so the guys can go and build it in the time that I've given them. That kind of progressed, moved into irrigation infrastructure, same type of philosophy, design and build company with our self-performing crews. The crews were just $15,000 a day crews, not $1,500 a day, if not less. But the same philosophy was there. I was designing, and I guess I take the philosophy through with everything I do. My role in pre-contract or design or whatever it may be is to facilitate the successful construction of an asset.
And you carry that belief system through.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think
mate, that's great.
We demonstrated that when we were trying to do project controls in YKO 50. You know, we turned it around from being where almost a perception of project controls where the project team owes you things and they have to give you things to facilitate you doing your job. I actually looked at it the other way around. It is
the other way around, isn't it?
Our job is to help make them decisions and intervene perhaps at certain points of time to help them deliver the job. Like otherwise, we're just an overhead that ticks boxes, and what's the point of that?
Yeah. I mean, as a controls and planning function, you are a support function, aren't you?
Exactly, yeah. And I guess design should be looked at it the same way. Even though it comes very early on, what I like to think is those designs should always be considering how things should be built, how they should be built most cost effectively for the client, and how they're most constructible for the construction teams to get out and do them. And those two things are normally pretty intrinsically linked.
Yeah, they're fully linked, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
So you were the design manager and the project control. You doubled up as a project controls manager for probably what I'd say is one of the most successful projects in the recent past in New Zealand.
Yeah, I think
and how was that? Was that real challenging for you? How did you fulfill both roles?
Well, I actually prefer, and I always have, being involved in a project where you basically roll from the early commencement of a job right through to the completion and handover. Yeah. Like you retain the information, you retain the understanding and all the decisions that are made. So, in fact, being involved in the early commencement of that project, understanding what the drivers of the project were, and then being able to help deliver that in a project control space actually made the project controls role a lot easier, right? Yeah. So if someone had to pick up
the fact that you had a good planner?
Oh, absolutely, that too. Yeah, that too. And that's part of management, right?
Yeah,
getting a team that knows what they're doing and understanding what their resourcing is, how they can fulfill the roles that you need to deliver the project, and making sure they're doing the right focus. And like I said, very early on, I think we had that discussion with the planning team and some of the wider team, the quality team as well, that let's change this focus. We're not just a reporting function. We're actually here to facilitate change and effective delivery of the project.
That's it. How can we do things smarter, faster, better? Yeah, how can we, vary the course of a project and bring them back in line when they're wearing. Right?
Which, I mean, I wouldn't say bring back in line. That probably suggests that we know more than the construction guys. To be fair.
We can pretend to know more than construction guys.
Absolutely. And in some meetings we will. But I guess the idea is to point out and I guess this is probably a fundamental issue within planning and project controls. Yeah, is often a program is looked at as something that you do very early in the project. You get ticked off, so the 1 month ahead of construction at an approved program, and just go and build it for the next 12 months. And that's it. Everyone is looking to the end date, but they're not looking at the incremental milestones or what they should be achieving along the way.
The journey that gets them to the end.
Exactly, and like the project review, the program review cycle that you implemented for us was incredible at a frequency that just made it really relevant. Like most people would consider, a full program review on a monthly basis is more than most companies would do. You're doing that on a weekly basis. So the resolution we had around change was pretty significant.
Yeah, man. I've always strongly believed it has to be weekly because 1 month is just way too much time has lapsed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're always looking back. You don't have enough time to then look forward.
Exactly.
But if you're doing it on a weekly basis, you may spend one meeting doing a backward review of what's happened.
Exactly.
But then the next meeting you go, we've already spoken about that now. Now we need to talk about the future. We don't have a choice.
Exactly. Yeah. I think we probably did get into a phase there. We were a little bit laggy, like in terms of our feedback from team. And when we got out on site and Kyle, the other planner that was there, was out walking the site on a daily basis, taking photos, really getting into that made a huge value, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess that was all justified on a project that was pretty much the sole outcome or the sole target was to deliver water to Auckland on a certain time frame. As a project controls manager, that is pretty awesome to be able to have a singular focus.
Yeah.
Although we were looking at the other aspects, particularly quality, and to be able to make sure that when we turn it on, it's not going to blow apart. Being able to focus on that program was pretty rewarding. I'm sure you would have felt.
Mate, that's probably one of the best projects I worked on. Like I've always said, that's the first job I worked on that we finished ahead of time. You know what I mean? Yeah. In a long time.
And that's probably we did that wrap up kind of halfway through the project when we started realizing, listen, we're running late. There was issues, and that was probably my most rewarding part of the project. Was you mentioned intervention before? It was probably more like a realization of a significant amount of slippage.
Yeah.
A realization that in discussion with the project manager, if we tracked along the same trajectory, we were going to be significantly late.
Absolutely.
Probably 2 or 3 months.
That's the key thing, right? If you can't measure, you can't manage.
Exactly.
So and that's all project controls is. Exactly. You measure, you manage, and you communicate.
Exactly.
Measure, manage, communicate. Just talk to people.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know about you, I found that process of going through those items that were running late, identifying what those issues were, really quizzing the project or the area managers about saying, what can you do to bring this forward, and then re-establishing milestones or redesigning a program around that. That was, I love that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. But that's the thing there, right? There's no magical answer to saving time, though. No, exactly. Really. So you know, what are the few things you could do? I guess you could change the methodology to try and save time on the critical path.
Yep.
Or you could try and throw more resources at it.
Yep.
Probably, I don't know. There's nothing else magical you can do.
No, that's right. I mean, obviously, there's. We looked at things like going from in situ to precast and checking.
Changing methodology.
Yeah. So, procurement was a big one on that side.
Massive, eh?
Changing.
And during COVID time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Shifting to that off-site fabrication, you know, that was a massive win as well.
Yeah.
Night shifting, the guys doing that. But it was probably, we didn't really come up with those ideas, That was the area managers that did it. We just facilitated the discussion, made them start thinking about it. And then I think following on from that, using that last planner board and putting our milestones up that those guys had committed to on the last planner and linking the program at a kind of macro level was pretty valuable.
So it's interesting you brought up last planner, right? Can we dig into that a little bit?
Absolutely, yeah.
So what's your views on last planner? What's personally honest opinion? What's your views on a last planner? Does it work?
To be fair, before Waikato 50, I hadn't used it much at all. I know that, and BBC they'd used it a lot.
Yeah.
And going into that project, I kind of considered that being a day-to-day management of the site crews, coordinating interfaces between the areas and the crews.
In absolute detail.
Yeah, so I kind of looked at it and goes, well, that doesn't, to the planning function, that's not that valuable.
Yeah.
But pretty soon I realised that was completely wrong. It should be the other way around, that those guys' use of the last planner should be informing our reporting and our adjustment of program.
Yeah.
And then we can provide the feedback to what the next milestone that should be. And I think changing that last planner from I think may have been a 4 to 5 week originally, and pushing it out to 8 week, and then milestones that almost pushed out to project completion that would just come along the board as they progressed.
Yeah.
Getting that link between our level of planning and programming and the site team's level at last planner was awesome.
Yeah, but the key thing there is, how do you get the two integrated, right? Yeah. Because I think I've worked on a few jobs where the guys doing the last planner boards are just doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm there. I've created this whole program with a group of project managers, and I'm going, what's going on here? It's like, you're talking about something completely different to what's in the program. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah. I think that was probably part of my role of being involved in those last planner meetings, sitting there and questioning, going, hey guys, that is a critical milestone.
Yeah.
And you've just put 3 stickers back and moved it back a week. That just, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Or if you do, what are you going to do to recover it?
Yeah, exactly, right? But that's the thing though. So every time I've sat in the last planner sessions and you take a post-it note and move it, what people don't really realize, I think, is the amount of total float that they've just lost by doing it, right? Yeah. Does that impact the critical path?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Like, you know, from a overall integrated program, I could instantly tell you, oh shit, all right, we're just going to lose 3 weeks by just moving that out, and that's what's happened, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But hey, that's my problem with Last Planner. I think it's a great interface tool, but they don't understand criticality of tasks, what's more important than the other, and you know.
Which I guess we had the benefit of having Kyle there, who would take that the day after the last plan would go and update our overall program, push out, and then you'd produce a report the following 3 days later that showed the change in critical path.
Come on, I'm better than that.
Or when it comes to me at midnight on a Saturday or a Friday, it becomes a Monday morning. So let's call it 2.5 on your calendar, but 3.5 on mine.
Oh, you crack me up, dude. Nah, anyways, that's awesome. So just varying from that a little bit. So currently, what do you think are the few key problems that we face as a construction industry as a whole? What are the biggest challenges you're facing right now as part of pipeline and civil? What are the few challenges that's really got you kind of awake at night?
Yeah, I guess in the pre-contract space and trying to price work at the moment, escalation is a massive issue. That'd be the biggest single thing that I'm trying to manage at the moment.
How so?
And well, so we're getting asked to often present pricing with a 6-month validity on a lump sum contract at the moment. Right. So at the moment, we're probably receiving steel price increases on a weekly basis for rebar and structural steel and all the rest of it. And so we're just getting to a point where we're going to have to, we just say our validities, we're probably pushing out about 6 weeks, and we'll carry any risk on that.
Yeah.
But then after that, we're saying if escalation goes over a certain percentage, that it's going to be passed on. So it's pretty hard for a main contractor to then receive that and go, well, shit, what do we do here? You know, how do we manage that? So that's probably one. In terms of probably not my space as much as resources, we're very fortunate to have a high level of staff engagement, and we don't have a high level of turnover. Like we don't.
Oh, that's
so
good.
we're managing
really
to
good.
keep our guys.
Yeah.
But in the few that are leaving or changing roles or whatever it may be, it's pretty hard to find replacement people.
Skilled resources is a big problem.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you think with the borders opening that would help that?
Yeah, when they do. I'm not sure how quickly that's happening.
I think they're already open, man. Oh, no, sorry, that's only for the residents.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a green card or whatever it is.
Here's the thing, right? I don't think that's going to be the silver bullet that all of us think it is to solve the resource problem. Nobody's rushing back to New Zealand.
No,
in my opinion. I'm
probably quite worried. There's a couple of guys, engineers that we work with on W50, really skilled young engineers, site engineers, probably looking to transition to project engineers relatively soon.
Yeah.
And I know 3 of them that are shooting off overseas. You know,
makes sense, right? If you're a young engineer, you can't afford to buy a house here.
Yeah.
Inflation's at the highest.
Yeah.
And
you've been locked down for 3 years, and we've still got a relatively constrained, or maybe not as open as other areas. You're looking overseas, going, now's the time.
Yeah. I mean, if I didn't start strategic planning, I think I would have left too. To be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I think the same people probably would have left, but it would have been in a more staggered approach. You would have got one leaving, then another, and you may have others returning. I think at the moment we're probably facing the point where we're going to have like a significant number all leaving at a very similar time, probably around now or not far off.
Yeah.
But there won't be anyone coming back in unless they're migrants, I guess. So.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully we get an influx of people.
Exactly.
Yeah. We need it. I think we desperately need.
Yeah. How about yourself, mate? What do you see out there at the moment?
Procurement challenges for sure. Yeah, on a lot of projects. Yeah. Obviously, we all know about the JIB crisis.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think in pipeline and civil you've got to deal with
JIB.
We don't have to worry about JIB, but I think that's a massive issue. Not just for home builders, it's for
commercial building as well.
Commercial buildings, anything that goes vertically up. Yeah. That's a big problem. And then there's your usuals, where you're fighting with engineers to the contract on a regular basis. Yeah. And there's what I'm looking forward to, I think, is the new revision of NZ 3910, which has been coming for a while now. And I hope it's anytime soon. So that would probably help small and medium-sized construction companies not go broke.
It would help me get my tenders out on time, so I'm not revising or writing or commenting against special conditions that vary just all the time. Their own flavour of it.
Yeah, how many times have you come across a contract where the special conditions are taken in the contract itself?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So I think we need a better form of contract. That's for sure. But New Zealand industry as a whole, I think there's a lot more we can do from a digitalization perspective.
Yeah.
As well,
absolutely,
and innovation. How can we do things smarter, faster, better? We are a small nation. We don't do $1 billion projects. Yeah. Or we might do very soon. I don't know. But, how many $1 billion projects have we got? One.
Yeah. Well, they're not on my contract books at the moment. Anyway. That's an interesting point, because that's one thing that I coming across the pipeline civil was from W50 we're very much focused on digital innovation and pushing the limits to get the project delivered on time. And I come across the pipeline civil and see a huge amount of opportunity there. But I guess as a company that is sometimes main contractor but often subcontract, asking for a digital file of a construction set of drawings that would make my life a lot easier in terms of takeoffs or designing temporary works or whatever it may be.
Do you not get a digital file?
No, it's 2D drawings that are normally...
In PDF'd?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Exactly, yeah. Yep. So
I'm here sitting in this podcast and I'm trying to talk about 3D models and how we do takeoff in 3D
exactly.
models.
And also I'm thinking the same thing. At the moment, we've got a team that literally do takeoffs from PDFs, and we're looking at systems that can do that off that. But I'd expect that should be a 3D model, and then when I'm producing a program, I want to be coding that against the model to then be able to visually show that when I'm in my tender reviews with the and methodology reviews, showing them this is how it's staged, this is how it's built. But I don't even think I'm anywhere near close to even be able to receive a model from a main contractor or from a designer, because I'm, Waikato 50, we're engaged from the very start, set some rules and how we're going to work. But as a subcontractor, we're getting a tender with 3 weeks notice and to price it and submit. You're dreaming, I think. But I think we need to change it.
Yeah. What do you think is the barrier there? Why don't you get a 3D model? I just, sorry man, I've just assumed that it's the normal thing that you get given.
Yeah, I think in terms of design deliverables, that's, designers are set up to provide paper or PDFs to a client, and that is their deliverable. I think there is, and we demonstrate on Waikato 50 and a few other discussion around that topic itself, there is an opportunity to move to a full model space, where you don't need to use all 4D. That paper. And I think that can be helpful at all tiers, not just in the design review, constructability review, but sending stuff to tenderers, to get pricing on the works, sending it to cost consultants. Why do they need to trawl through 180 drawings?
Yeah, and what you use some rulers.
Literally getting a PDF scale thing out and, like measuring everything and doing perimeter calculations. It just doesn't make sense. So there is a hell of a lot of opportunity there.
What do you think you can do to influence that where it becomes part of a standard deliverable?
Maybe come on more podcasts with yourself, mate. I think that there is the message getting out there. Like we presented at Water New Zealand conference about digital technology and working with Farzan Fadi from Becca. He's pushing that space. That whole team is going really hard in terms of changing mindsets. I guess that will take some time, but I think it's on its way. I don't know how I could personally push it right at the moment. Perhaps when I'm the next, maybe a preferred contractor, gone through a tender phase and then become the selected contractor, maybe at that point with pipelines. So, good question.
Could you, I know, turn around and say, we're not going to tender if you don't give me a 3D drawing?
Well, then I wouldn't get any jobs. So
It's a fine balance there, isn't it? You just got to work out what that
I'd like to think I'd have that much weight, but they'll go, I guess sweet as we'll go with your opposition then.
Got the opposition then.
And then, no, unfortunately, I don't think we have the leverage to change the industry. I guess.
But there must be things you can do to step change that, right?
Yeah, so
I guess it would be interesting to think about what you can do to step change.
I hadn't really actually thought about it, but I've actually just joined CCNZ, become a branch committee member, so that's maybe something we can look at that. And they have a number of streams that they work across, and I don't know where digital falls into those, but perhaps I'll raise that point.
You should,
because I'm sure there's plenty of people who would be interested in trying to push that.
But I think there are softwares out there that would do takeoffs for you from 2D drawings.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So there's options. And
absolutely. Yeah,
but again,
exist at the moment. I guess we haven't utilised them fully, but I'd like to go straight to the next step. Really, start doing it in a 3D space.
Man, that's a no-brainer for me. It's just like I guess everything's just going to be from a 3D drawing. Your shop drawings should be automatically generated from there. Your time should be integrated in there. Cost should be integrated in there. Everything in one central digital platform. Everybody's talking the same language. The cost guys, the time guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not impossible.
That's right. How did you get on with that software that you were investigating?
So recently I've been looking at Asta Power projects. So I've successfully implemented 4D on. Again, the confidential project that I'm not allowed to talk about. Probably Colin's got to go bleep.
The beep project.
The beep project. That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
No, but we've seen great value from it. So on that job, it didn't take me too long to kind of get the model coded up with the right metadata that I needed. And I think the beauty of this is, as soon as I played the video in slow-mo for the guys, literally they went,
that's not going to work, or...
Nah, mate. Stop thinking negatively, man. Come on.
Okay. Whoa, Andy, you're clever. How many of these you built before? You must know what you're doing.
Stop being a bleep again. Let's fill in that space with whatever you want. No. The interesting thing that we saw was, from a methodology perspective, how can you put up that steel before the blockwork goes up? They instantly picked it up. Something I've never seen on 2D. That's crazy cool. But what Asta's also helped do is, I now take a screenshot of what the site should look like at the end of every month, or what good looks like.
Oh yeah.
So just a snapshot of the model, and where we should be at. So slabs complete, structural steel for zone A up, whatever, something like that.
Yeah, cool.
And I stick that up on site, right? So in the smoker room, and the guys now come for a cuppa, and they're going, right, they're looking and going, oh, August, September, October, November, shit, we need to be like that in November, you know. So it starts sinking in their subconscious, and so now I'm not just communicating lines on a piece of paper. I'm visually communicating where we should be at the end of every month.
Yeah, man.
So I think that's like a great step change. I mean, that's one way I'm kind of utilizing 4D. So because I sit and think a lot about all the use cases for 4D. Right? It's great as a sales tool.
Yeah,
It's amazing as a sales tool. Like there's, you just sell it to your client and go, whoa, then the client goes, oh, is that how you're going to build it? Cool, right? Yeah. But I don't think it ends there. I think we've got to collectively think about how we can start using it to demonstrate buildability to the last guy who lays bricks, you know, or puts up the timber, pours the concrete.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say, I think that's a really important aspect. And I know we did the exercise on Waikato 50 and we probably got to it too late.
Yeah.
Where we'd done our constructability review. We'd kind of already blocked out our baseline program.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was probably a little bit too late to extract the full value of it.
Exactly.
If we had started earlier, got the coding squared away a bit earlier, and we could have looked and gone, oh, well, let's optimize this, we probably would have picked up some of the things that were affecting our access constraints on that site, you know, those type of deal.
Yeah.
Actually, that was something, because we planned so well, being planners and project controls people, we came out with a detailed list of bullet points for this discussion point, right, and put times against it all when we knew exactly what we were going to talk about, eh? We had that squared away, right?
Yeah. What is it now? 26 minutes to the end of the podcast. Hey?
Yeah.
Plan it right down in a second.
We're good. We're good. But I was going to say, one thing I did want to talk quickly about was work breakdown structures.
Yes.
Which, I mean, I love your little what do you call it? The
Diamond project modeling.
Diamond project modeling. Yeah. So I mean, it all links, right? Time, cost, quality, and well, we actually looked at it a little bit different. We set it up by work breakdown structure and organisational structure on Waikato 50, but you can do whichever you want really. But without an integrated work breakdown structure, the likes of 4D doesn't work, right?
No, it doesn't, because so you need that spatial element and your process kind of integrated, at a consistent level.
Yeah.
So you've got a spatial level, you've got the whole project.
Yeah.
That then could break down into I like to call it a process. You know, you go substructure, superstructure, facade, fit out.
You're too much vertical, mate.
Oh yeah. And get back. Built too many buildings, dude. No. I need to start thinking roads, rails, bridges, and pipes.
Yeah, that's it. Pipes are where it's at, mate.
Pipes where it's at. Fix all the leaks, man. Come on, yeah, get onto it. No, but yeah, it's getting that aligned. I think, and setting up structure. So if you ask me what's more important to me, you know, a great mindset, a great skill set, or structure.
Yeah.
I'll always tell you structure.
Yeah.
You know, you could have the greatest mindset and the greatest skill set. Yeah. Without structure, you crumble, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Vice versa. So structure is the most important thing to me.
Absolutely.
And like you said, the org breakdown structure relating to the cost breakdown structure and the design or model breakdown structure.
Yeah.
And man, I spend a lot of time trying to implement on jobs. It's a lot harder than you think.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to look at it. Coming into pipeline civil and seeing how we can do that better to track individual projects, but also business, you know, get a better understanding of how long tasks take and what costs they have.
At an enterprise level?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's, you're quite right.
You got my number?
I do have your number.
You can give me a call, bro. Anytime.
Sweet as. Thanks. No, it's a challenge. I really do like the prospect of doing that though, and grouping things and just organising quite well. But I think you did that really well. We all did it really well on Waikato
50, that's for sure, man.
And that kind of set my benchmark of where I think good should be.
Yeah.
And saying that though, we stopped at a level 4 WBS in terms of our cost and time
the integration we stopped at 4. Yeah.
And I think there's definitely opportunity to really improve on that. And I guess that was a function of our cost understanding wasn't great, so we didn't take that to a very high level, and we developed our program to much greater.
But it's like dangerous territory, right? You could get down to the minute task level detail, and you could get lost.
Oh, absolutely.
You could get completely lost, and it's just meaningless data after that point.
And if you got too many options, people will code things at the wrong place, and then it just becomes errors, and it's not valuable either. So quite right. You need to choose that ground.
Yeah.
And maybe some areas you don't need to go to a high level of detail, whereas others, maybe it's worthwhile driving right down. So.
But anyways, man, so I think, like you said, I've structured it, planned it. I think it's time for us to. but before we call it, so if I was a young engineer out there trying to get into the construction industry, what advice would you give me? Just fresh out of university.
The PC answer.
Honest answer, mate.
Quite personally, I touched on it before. I came through a design background, but my design background was with constructors and construction companies. I think there's huge value for young engineers to spend time in the field. They can still be designers, they can still be office-based if they prefer that option, but get more exposure to construction companies because that's where the rubber hits the road. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of our young engineers are going straight into consultancies and perhaps not getting the full exposure of how things are built or how multidisciplinary projects come together. And I think I find that hugely rewarding as being able to work on a multidisciplinary project, understanding a little bit of everything, knowing how it's going to come to you, not how it's going to be priced, how it's going to be programmed, how it's going to be built, how it's going to be commissioned. And I think a lot of people don't have that experience anymore. Right. So that would be my experience. And if anyone's interested, come call me at Pipeline and Civil.
do you want us to leave your number right?
Find me on LinkedIn.
Find me on LinkedIn. No, just add me on LinkedIn.
Yeah. I think consultancies can be great places to get an experience, but I think every young engineer or any engineer in general should get a wider experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Even for myself, I would have thought at some stage I'd like to work for in a principals environment, like so working for the client side. You know, that would round out my career.
It's interesting how much I'll tell you. I work with clients, subcontractors and main contractors, and it's a very different experience. It's pretty cool though. I mean, like you don't appreciate the challenges some of the clients go through as a main contractor, and the client sometimes doesn't appreciate the challenges a main contractor goes through. Funny, just in this lucky gifted position, touch wood, I guess, to kind of get a glimpse of both, if you will. That
whole risk discussion where risk could lie and all the rest of it is a whole 3-series podcast, I reckon.
Yeah, mate, we'll probably go on forever.
Exactly.
No, mate, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Cheers, man. Thanks for having me.
Really do appreciate it.
Awesome. Cheers, bro.
Do you have any final last words?
No, thank you.
Anything else you want to tell anybody?
No, that's good. I've already done my plug. I've done my recruitment drive. So that's awesome.
Good on you, mate. Good on you.
Cheers, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, bro. Cheers.
All right.